All right, today, at this point, we have with us three young men who are members of our church. We have been talking previously to some of the older members of the church, but these are some of the younger members of our church. In fact, they just have joined our church just about a year ago. But I want them to let you know what their names are. Won't you tell them what your name is?
Eric Curtis,
And your name?
Derek Curtis,
And your name?
Chris Curtis.
Chris Curtis, yes. And that name is a very important name in the history of St. John. In fact, we find that there's a Curtis that's in the membership of St. John from its very beginning. And we want you to see how that name is related to these boys. So I'm going to have some other people to come here, and they're going to let you know who they are. And we'll just find out how this Curtis name has been in this church for 110 years. I'm going to ask this gentleman to come, and I want you boys to let us know who he is. He's going to join us here. Just come right over here. Would you tell us who this is?
James Curtis.
Okay, and is he related to you?
Yes.
Who is he?
Our Father.
All right. So here, and James, you are a member of St. John. When did you join St. John? Who was the pastor?
When I joined about 30 years ago, Reverend Still was the pastor here.
Right. All right then. And then, of course, your father was a pastor. Was a member. I'm sorry. Here. And so, would your father come here? And boys, you tell us who this man is that is coming up here. Come right on here, on closer in, so we can see who is that just joined us. You know?
James Curtis.
And how is he related to you? You know who he is? What's he? Your what?
Father.
Your grandfather, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And this is your father's father. All right. And James, you joined church when? You know who was the pastor?
Reverend Estelle was the pastor when I joined. However, I had grown up in St. John even before he came.
All right then. So when you say you grew up in St. John, you mean that your parents were members of St. John?
That's right.
Right. And what was your father's name?
Clarence Curtis.
Clarence Curtis. And other members of the family, did you have an aunt who was a member of this St. John, and your aunt has daughters who are now members, right?
Yes, my grandfather and his daughter, Cornelia Curtis, and her children.
Also in the church.
They're also members.
Oh, all right then. And so her children are still members of this church, and I'd like for them to come and join this group. And would you all just come and stand right in front of these fellows right here so you can be seen. These are Cornelia Curtis's children, and would you tell them what your names are?
I'm Lucille Warner.
And your name?
I'm Ella Mae Warner.
And of course they have a sister who's not with us here tonight, but that's Pearl Warner. And that's
Pearl Johnson.
Pearl Johnson, I'm sorry. And so it's Cornelia Curtis Warner's children. And so they are part of this family. And then their grandfather was named what?
John Curtis.
John Curtis. So now I want you boys here again to remember that name, John Curtis, because that name was on the church roll when it was first founded. John Curtis. You can say that for me.
John Curtis.
And then that would be your great, great, great grandfather. Say that. My great,
Great.
great grandfather. So now we know, therefore, that we're going to have Curtises in this church from the beginning until the Lord comes. Because here we have these boys here, Eric and Derek, who are twins. And how old are you?
8.
8. And Chris is how old? 11. So we are sure that a part of the Curtis family will be a part of St. John for the years to come.